Okay, just back from my first ride in weather that's not perfect. So every other day I've waited for it to be sunny and nice to go out. But I figured that it's not always going to be nice and sunny when I go out for my commute. So it's been raining overnight and it's been quite windy. It wasn't raining at the moment, but it was spitting around a little bit. I thought I probably wasn't going to enjoy it much, but actually I had a really nice ride. I just done just over 8 miles and it was on the way back there was a little bit of wind, but just put it up into the super power mode, so the high mode, mode 3, and you can get through that without too much trouble. So I've had this e-bike, the Carrera Subway e-bike, for about 2 weeks now, and I'm actually really starting to enjoy going out for my cycles. So I'm generally going out for between half an hour and an hour at a time, and as I say, quite looking forward to going out, which I didn't think was going to be the case. I thought it was going to be more of a chore. So hopefully I will continue to enjoy it as I start commuting, when it's something I have to do rather than something that I just want to do for a bit of fun, and when I've got to go out in all weathers. I think the best way I can describe it with how the e-bike feels is so muscles that I've never had, probably. You see the cyclists out there with their big calves and thighs, and I certainly don't have a physique like that, and it just makes you feel like you have, because the motor's doing some of the work of the muscles, so you're still working your legs and still putting some effort in. I'm still working up a little bit of a sweat as I go, but overall you really feel like you can do it, and you start feeling like you're actually fit, which obviously I'm not. It's the motor doing some of the work, but hopefully as I go I'll get fitter. I'll need to use level 3 less, but I think the key for me is not to be too proud to use the high boost level when you're going into the wind or up a hill, just until you get your muscles built up a bit. I could feel today that my knee was starting to hurt a bit, so I think I'm going to have to find some Pilates videos to follow to strengthen up my muscles around the knee, to make sure that doesn't cause me trouble. But again, as soon as it started hurting, I put it on the high level to kind of ease my knee as much as possible. So going through the rain and the wet, didn't seem to get splashed too much, but I'll find out once I take this jacket off. So this is the jacket that I bought. This is high-vis jacket, and it's got plenty of reflective details on it. And again, reading into what jackets are best to get for being seen. High-vis is great during the day, but you need reflective bits during the night. So this was a Madison jacket. Got it for about 30 quid from a place called Infinity Cycles, mail order, and it's been quite good. It just seems to have the right level of not too thick and not too thin. I got a large, which when I first tried it on I thought was going to be a bit too big, but of course once you've got a few layers underneath, and it'll give me flexibility to put more layers underneath, and it seems like it's about right. Only thing it doesn't have is a hood, which obviously you can't really put a hood up, but I've wondered whether that's a good idea or not when you're cycling, if you want to be able to put a hood under your helmet, but I imagine that probably ruins your visibility, that you can't see behind you, so maybe it's best just to accept that your head's going to get wet and take a towel with you, I guess. But we will see. The other thing I found is that it's good to wear either glasses or sunglasses when you're out riding, so you don't get too many flies in your eyes, because I've had quite a few of those, so that's something to bear in mind. Now we'll take a look at what the mud did and see how muddy I've got. So these cheap clip-on ETC mudguards, which I showed you in the previous video how they went on, seem to have done a reasonably good job. There's a bit of muck on my nice white rack, which obviously maybe in hindsight white wasn't the best idea to go for, because it's going to show how dirty it is, and that's something I'm going to have to get into a bit of a routine, is cleaning the bike, I guess, especially after rides like that. But so looking at this, I thought there was probably going to be a whole load of spatter up my back, but if you can see the back of my jacket, it's pretty much clear, which I'm quite surprised at with those mudguards. I don't know what it would be like for people cycling behind me, but for me there's a few little bits on there you can see, but there's not a whole brown line up my back and into my ears, so I think that rear mudguard at least is doing the job. I didn't have the front mudguard on, and as I mentioned before, I'm still waiting for the nut to come, but I don't seem to be spattered up my front either. I didn't I deliberately tried to avoid most puddles, but I did have to go through a few. I didn't go down too many muddy tracks, so I was sticking to proper paved bike lanes and roads. So that kind of mimics what I would be doing on my commute anyway. So generally that's looking quite promising, that I'm not going to turn up to work with my back spattered too badly.